Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be doing another episode of the 1967 Topps High Series cards. This is actually going to be a double print as opposed to the cards that are short print, so it's much more readily accessible. This card you could probably get for under $10 in relatively good condition. Obviously, you're going to pay a little bit more for that if you want in better condition. We can see this one's fairly well centered. It definitely doesn't have the perfect corner at the top here, but it's featuring none other than pitcher Chuck Estrada, who's still with us. Chuck was born in 1938 and made his major league debut after he was signed as a free agent out of high school in 1956, but made his debut with the Baltimore Orioles in 1960, and he came on the scene guns a-blazing. He actually finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting to actually his teammate at the time, and was 12th in MVP voting and was a member of the All-Star team that year. It was his best season. He went 18-11, had a 3.58 ERA during that season. The next couple seasons, he actually did fairly well too. By 1962, he actually led the league in losses, but he was actually not on a great team. That had a lot to do with it. He probably was known more during this time period for a lot of his control issues. He would give up a lot of hits per 9 innings and also had a lot of walks. But somehow he's able to kind of come out ahead of the game often by winning these ball games during the time of those first couple seasons. And then he started experiencing a lot of elbow issues, which he attributes actually to probably his time during the minors when he felt he was overused at that time. But he had elbow problems starting in about like 1962, which pretty much derailed his career thereafter. He did pitch through the 1967 season, had a WAR of just 2.5, won 50 games, lost 44, had an ERA at 4.07. Was actually tied for the league in wins in 1960, and then he also led the leagues in losses in 1962. So he's one of those players that did both in his career. The other teams he played mostly for the Baltimore Orioles, but then he got moved over briefly to the Chicago Cubs before he finished his career in 1967 with the Mets. While he was with the Mets, one of the things that's of note, he actually came in for relief in Tom Seaver's very first game, was able to close that out, so Tom Seaver got a win. So he featured in Tom Seaver's very first Major League Baseball game, so that was kind of an interesting little feat for him. He retired from playing, even though he tried to play maybe a little bit afterwards in minors, didn't work out. He turned to becoming a pitching coach shortly thereafter, and actually became a major league pitching coach and featured at some point during the course of 4 teams from 1973 to 1983. The 4 teams he was a pitching coach for the 3 teams were the Texas Rangers, the San Diego Padres, and the Cleveland Indians. Off the field, after his retirement, he was married 3 times and had a daughter. He was a big fan of golfing and watching sports, both live and on TV too. So he became still very active in athletics and as a spectator after his career. What I like about this card is you can tell it was taken, I believe, in it would have been Dodger Stadium. This is his home uniform. I think this probably would have been the early days of Shea Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really kind of cool seeing his follow through and the beautiful Mets hat here with the blue and the orange emblem on there. Actually, I'm watching partially in the background here them trying to make the playoffs. It's not working out so well for them right now this year. On the back of the card, it's got those beautiful avocado green backs here. You can see he spent a lot of time kind of bouncing around in the minors before he actually stayed up for good in 1960. You can see he's got featured there. He had 18 wins in his rookie season. Went on to win 15 the next season, then lost 17. Was in the minors briefly after 1964. Came back and was moved on to Chicago. There he was 1-1 before he brought over to the New York Mets, as I mentioned, for the 67 season. He's kind of a cautionary tale, I think, in the minor collector hobby to some degree too. To not get too high on people who had a great rookie season and prospects, because you just never know how their careers are going to pan out. Obviously, kids who were buying these cards back in 1967 or during the course of the 60s weren't really thinking about their value or investments at that time. It wasn't really a thing. They just wanted to be able to complete their sets. And wouldn't have been able to complete the high series without card number 537, Chuck Estrada. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be back next month with card number 38, and I will see you again soon.